Come into a seated position. Feel the pressure of the pelvis pushing down into the sitting surface. Apply a little more pressure down into your seat, such that the crown of the head lifts upward for a nice tall position. Feeling that downward force of the pelvis into the seat and the upward force of the seat back up into the pelvis. Notice the steadiness there. Perfect balance between those forces. Stillness, rootedness, groundedness. And with some awareness still in your seat, interaction between your pelvis and your seat. Begin to pay attention to the breathing and start to notice the movement that happens with each breath. The inhale and the exhale. The abdomen expanding in all directions on the inhale, and the abdomen retracting back in. Navel comes back in toward the spine on the exhale. Continue to pay attention to that movement and begin to add a little bit of conscious movement into the breath. Each inhale tilting the pelvis forward. So as the pelvis tilts forward, the abdomen expands. And each exhale, tucking the tailbone under. The tailbone tucks under, the navel draws in toward the spine. Inhale, tilt the pelvis forward. Exhale, tilt the pelvis back. Add a little bit more movement to the upper spine and to the neck with each inhale. The pelvis tilts forward, lift the chin. And on the exhale, tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin, pull the navel in. Inhale, abdomen expands. Pelvis tilts forward, chin lifts up. On the exhale, the tailbone tucks under. The chin tucks. Abdomen comes inward. Continue to move with the breath in that way. The spine goes into full extension on the inhale and into full flexion on the exhale. As you move with the breath, begin to make a little bit of sound with the breath. The inhale. And on the exhale, making the sound of a slight hiss or sigh, gently closing off the back of the throat ever so slightly, making a sound like so. As you continue to make that sound, tune into that sound, listen to that sound. Listening to the sound of the breath, moving with the breath. Feeling the steadiness as you're moving. Steadiness, you can still feel the steadiness in your seat. The firm foundation, pelvis, and the sitting surface. Making a sound with each breath. And focus your eyes to the space in the middle of the forehead, a little bit above the line of the eyebrows, third eye point. Focus the eyes there. As you're focusing the eyes there, continue to make a sound with the breath. Start to add in a little bit of a mantra, repeating with each breath. On the inhale, repeating silently to yourself the word here. Each exhale, repeating the word now, silently to yourself. Inhale here. Exhale now. As you're repeating the mantra here, now, eyes are focused on the third eye point, making a sound with the breath. Pelvis tilting forward, chin lifting up on the inhale, tailbone tucking under, chin sinking in toward the chest on the exhale. Practice bringing attention back to the breath using those tools that we're working with here. The sound of the breath. Practice bringing the attention back to your body with the tools that we're using in that area, the gazing point in the middle of the forehead, the feeling of firmness and steadiness in your seat, firm foundation. Bring some attention to your inner body, the deepest muscles of the abdomen. And every inhale, apply a little bit of a squeeze to the pelvic floor. The pelvic floor, the muscles you would use if you were trying to stop the flow of urine. Every inhale, applying a little bit of a squeeze to the pelvic floor. Every exhale, drawing the navel inward actively, more than just allowing the navel to come back in. On every exhale, actively draw the navel in toward the spine. As the inhale, abdomen expands, the pelvic floor contracts. On the exhale, tuck the tailbone under, draw the navel in. And as you're becoming more aware of your inner body by applying these muscle activation techniques, squeezing the pelvic floor on the inhale, drawing the abdomen in on the exhale. Begin to imagine with your sense of feeling, like you can feel it, as well as see it with your mind's eye, that each time you inhale, energy is drawing up the center column of your body near the spine. And every time you exhale, the energy is flowing from the crown of the head back down the front side of the body and back into the pelvic floor. The inhale, the pelvic floor, the squeeze of the pelvic floor is like a pump, pumping energy up the center column of your body. And on the exhale, after the energy tops out at the crown of the head, buzzes around there for a split second, it flows back down the front side of the body as the abdomen pulls in. The energy flows back down into the pelvic floor. Just imagining that energy and starting to feel it. Continue to practice bringing attention back to the breathing. Anytime you notice that the attention has wandered, use the tools of our practice. Attention to the steadiness in the seat, movement of the spine with each inhale and exhale, the sound that we're making with each breath, the gazing point to the third eye in the middle of the forehead. The squeeze of the pelvic floor on the inhale, the drawing of the abdomen inward, the belly button inward on the exhale. And then imagining that energy flowing up the center column of the body on each inhale and down the front side of the body back into the pelvic floor on the exhale. Now remain silent for a minute or two and allow you to just practice on your own the skill of bringing attention, noticing when the attention has wandered, and using the tools at our disposal to bring the attention back to the breathing. And then notice if your attention has wandered, bringing back to the breath with the sound of the breath, focal point of the eyes, the steadiness in the seat, squeezing the pelvic floor on each inhale, moving the spine on each inhale and exhale. And start to let the movement of your spine diminish with each breath, reducing it a little bit, little by little, until you come into a state of stillness in the body. The pelvis is no longer visibly or noticeably tilting forward and back, and the chin remains steady and the head remains steady. Still listening to the breath, still making a sound with the breath. Still a little bit of movement is associated with each breath because the abdomen expands and retracts on each inhale and exhale, and you're just noticing that movement now. Rather than causing the movement, you're just noticing it. Stepping into the role of observer of the movement of the breath. And then allow the breath to become quiet. Let go of the control of your gazing point and just allow your gaze to just rest in the open, dark space behind your closed eyes, behind your eyelids. Observe still the steadiness in your seat. Observe the sensations that arise with each inhale and exhale. Keep as much attention as you can on the inhale and exhale. And if you notice that it wanders, bring it back to the breath. Sensations within your body that arise with every breath, every part of the breath, the inhale, then the space between the inhale and the exhale, and then the exhalation and the space between the exhalation and the inhalation. Just noticing, observing. Do your best to tune in to the sensations in your body, whatever they may be, at the brief moment, split second where a sensation is merely a sensation and the mind has not had a chance to analyze and interpret the sensation. The practice here is not to stop the mind from working, it's just to bring the attention away from the contents of your mind and into the sensations of the body. Still allowing the mind to do whatever it will, but consciously bringing attention to the breathing and the sensations. And begin to do your best to just regard each sensation that arises with equanimity. That means that whether the sensation is pleasant or unpleasant or neutral, we're cultivating an attitude of just allowing it to be there. So if an unpleasant sensation arises, the natural tendency is to try to eliminate it or push it away. Create inner resistance to it, and we actually energize the unpleasant sensation when we resist it. So we're trying to just drop that resistance to any unpleasant sensation. And also drop the craving and clinging for more that arises with any pleasant sensation. Every sensation that arises, allow it to come and allow it to go. Just as the breath enters and exits the body, let any sensation that arises pass through your field of awareness just as easily as the breath passes through the body. Observe the state of your mind and observe the state of your body. And just remember that any relaxation, any release of tension, any tranquility, serenity that you've been able to cultivate with the practice today is always available. It's always within you. It's always within all of us. We can tap into it anytime we like. And all it takes is practice, practice, practice.